by that, so my issue with that argument.
So we should talk about things that we know about.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like that's one of my things. Like I think there's a lot of, and I'm not calling you stupid. I'm saying there's a lot of stupidity going around. There's a lot of people just throwing around just ill-informed opinions. And if we would all kind of just take a step back and be informed about the shit that we talk about, the world would be a lot better place.
I think I could agree in theory, but not in practice.
You can agree with everything in theory, apparently.
Well, yeah, because I've seen enough of the real world.
Being informed before having an opinion. I can agree with that in theory. God damn it.
Well,
I love doing this. This is so much fun. Awesome. All right. How you doing tonight, my friend?
Doing well. Just getting off work and looking for a leftist podcast. So thought this would be fun.
Oh, well, hey, I were you looking for a leftist podcast to enjoy or hate watch?
Enjoy, but they tend to turn out to be hate watching. So, you know, we'll see.
Well, where do you consider yourself on the spectrum?
I'd probably consider myself centrist. By most definitions, definitely right wing. So, you know, depends on where you land. I like communism as an idea, but, you know, realize that it's not practical. So, you know, where does that fit on the political spectrum? I have no clue.
I don't know what you mean by communism is not practical. How is it not practical?
Well, just besides the fact that there's not a working example of it in history.
Okay, what do you mean? What do you mean by communism?
Well, more specifically, socialism. Excuse me, but let me clarify our terminology. I'm used to talking to right wingers, and they conflate the two. But socialism as an economic system, specifically.
Well, both terms are a little nebulous, right? So the term capitalism itself comes from like Marx. I think he had read a novel, it's The Great Gatsby or something, and he had heard the term and he adopted it, and it's Marx's use of the word is where it comes from, and he uses it to describe, you know, a private ownership of the means of production. Socialism, communism, a little interchangeable, but not quite. And similar, but, you know, I want to see what you think about the terms.
Well, I mean, so beyond getting into a long philosophical discussion, you know, I found probably the most useful distinction simply being that socialism would be the economic system, whereas communism being the moral belief, ideology behind it, you know, believing in the communal benefit, helping out others, et cetera, but you know that is generally tied to socialism. So yeah, there's a lot of crossover there. It's hard to, you know, make it.
Well, they're both economic system.
Break it down.
The way I break it down is that communism is government ownership, whereas socialism is like public ownership. Like, okay, if we had a co-op, but then some people would say that a co-op would be more of an example of communism.
Well, and you do end up with a, you know, is there a distinction without a difference where, you know, even in your communes, like there is still a leadership structure. You know, I understand people have tried not to have one, but there always ends up being some form of leadership structure.
Well, you have to delegate responsibilities.
It ends up becoming its own government of sorts, even if we're calling it something different.
Well, yeah, that's what you're referring to is the fact that, like, you know, power will corrupt people. So if you have a communist system, the check on, or any system, I would think, the check on it is to have a democracy where people have a say in their own governance.
Potentially, you know, I could be swayed either way in that regard.
Either way, what?
I don't find democracy itself to be an inherent good.
Well, then what's
it may be the best system we have, but not inherently good. You have
Ho.
people, you're gonna have bad outcomes.
Okay, well, my idea, why would a system be inherently good?
Well, I guess
like a hammer is not inherently good. It's just a tool. It's useful. It doesn't have a value judgment attached to it.
Yes, I think I could agree in theory. As an example, just hypothetical, a machine designed purely to do harm, that can have no beneficial benefit, you could easily argue is just bad, just because there is no beneficial side to it. And so that becomes the question: is this a tool that has a beneficial side to it? Would be the question.
Okay, but like, how are you putting a? But you're saying I don't think communism is inherently good, but who argued that it was inherently good? And also, once again, the chat probably missed out on a lot of this because I was having like some internet issues. That's why I was amazed you stuck around.
Oh, you're good.
I'm on Spectrum. It explains everything.
I'm a firm believer that anytime everything goes right, there's probably bigger things that are going wrong.
Okay, but so Marx described communism as a stateless society. Right, so it's where we get to a point to where we all kind of know our role and society functions without any sort of oversight or government agency.
Which sounds like a great thing in theory.
Fucking ants do it.
I'm not seeing any actual implementation of that, not on any long-term scale.
Well, that's why he says that socialism is the bridge to that, where the workers own the means of production.
Well, either way, whether we're equivalent over calling it socialism or communism, I think my critique would still be the same. My biggest problem with it is that it hasn't solved the what do you call it? Incentive problem. Like capitalism at least addresses the incentive problem.
Explain the incentive problem to me. You're talking about the tragedy of the commons, right? You're just using different terminology.
Describe tragedy of the commons.
The idea that like there's a tree and nobody owns it, and if nobody is incentivized to take care of the tree, it's just gonna wither and die. But if a person owns it, then he has an incentive to have it produce fruit and to make money off of the fruit.
Okay, I can work with that example.
Well, that's literally what's called in philosophy.
I don't. Yes, the same idea. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
More specifically, because I think we can both agree that while money is not the only incentive, people have incentives to do any number of things. My biggest problem is that if everyone is able to just choose whatever they want to do. As an example, if everyone's just given X amount to live off of, all of your needs are met, et cetera, et cetera.
Universal basic income.
Yes, whether that's through socialism or through capitalism means, let's assume it's just socialism.
Well, capitalism means private ownership of the means of production. So rich people aren't just going to hand you money.
I understand.
They're going to try to extract as much money as they can from you, whether it be from your wage to try to pay you as little as they possibly can, or from the products that they sell you to try to extract as much profit as they can. Both ways, you're getting fucked up the ass, you're getting fucked in the mouth, brother. Capitalism.
Well,
airtight capitalism.
Yes, but despite its problems, it still does work. And that's kind of
what do you mean by work?
Well, I mean that people still get their food, they still get an ability to find shelter, heat, et cetera, et cetera. Like,
you don't think other societies do that? I think the housing rate in China puts ours to shame.
It's true, but they've become more of a market economy over the last 40 years than a socialist economy. So
They kick our ass at capitalism. I
an
agree.
example of that. So, well, exactly, and that's
But they'll still put landlords to
The
death as well. That
different
happened
are
like
not
last
socialists.
year.
Sorry, say that again.
They'll still put landlords to death. I like that policy. They did that like last year.
Yeah, if they commit a crime worthy of it.
Yeah, some dude like embezzled like
Off
millions
the
of
top of my head.
dollars. They put him to death.
Yeah.
Love it. Great.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. Honestly, I get a lot of flack from people, specifically on the left, because I don't have a problem with the death penalty for certain crimes. And quite frankly,
Oh, you should have a problem with the death penalty, my friend. Okay. I was like you for a long time, and I went back to college when I was older. And one of the first classes I had to take was philosophy as a conversation. The philosophy professor took me to the side after like the first or second class, and he's like, "Have you ever thought about having a philosophy degree?" And I was like, "No." But it turns out, like, it's really fulfilling. But I had to challenge a lot of my beliefs that I had. What were we just talking about?
Socialism, whether it can actually work as a system.
No, the specific topic right before I made that point about I used to be like you and I went back to college and had to challenge my beliefs.
Death.
The death penalty, yes. So Sister Helen Prejean came and spoke at my college. She's the nun that Dead Man Walking, is it Susan Sarandon plays in Dead Man
I don't
Walking?
know. Off the top of my head.
Okay, well, but she's the nun that
Off the top of my
advocated.
head, sorry.
And one of her biggest points that she drove home was that well over 90% of the people on death row couldn't afford an attorney.
Which honestly was my biggest reason for not accepting the death penalty.
That
Well,
should be your biggest reason for not accepting the death penalty.
Well,
It's
so
clearly not delved out evenly. There's not 90-something% like poor people committing the crimes in here. The most horrendous crimes committed by our society are like the Sacklers over here, getting everybody addicted to OxyContin and shit.
Oh, agreed. But like my biggest reason for still accepting the death penalty would come down to, while I agree that there's no perfect system, like the same argument that says that the poor are not getting proper representations. Like, yeah, I agree. I'm not in favor of the legal system as a general rule. I don't find them to be.
Our legal system with all its problems. Now that is when I'll make that argument that our legal system is abhorrent, but like the lack of some of the protections that we have, like the Fourth and Fifth Amendment, and a lot of the judicial process that is afforded to us, absolutely necessary.
I agree. It's necessary. My problem. Well, I have a logical problem with the judiciary as they are currently set up. But that beside the point.
Well, my problem is that like money will get you out of shit.
Yeah, that's unfortunately true of every system ever, and it's one of those areas.
No, specifically capitalism.
I mean, that was true in socialist countries as well. You have the same stories from Russia of the rich getting off, because even in socialist societies, like, they're still rich. Like, and like, if we're just saying, oh well, it'd have to be purely socialist, that wouldn't exist. Like, okay, but then we're making a no true Scotsman fallacy. Like, there are 1,000 renditions of.
Well, let me ask you a question. How much do you actually know about like socialist Russia or the USSR?
A little above an idiot's perspective.
So you probably shouldn't have opinions on it, right?
Well, the argument there is simply an argument from authority.
They did a survey.
Argument, I'm for it.
They did a survey of like people over 40 or something that lived under Soviet rule in the satellite countries, and they preferred the USSR.
Well, yes, I can agree to that without actually agreeing that socialism itself is better.
Well, I didn't say that. That's not the claim that I made.
Okay. Clarify the claim.
That maybe you don't want to use Russia as an example because you can't give me like specific examples. Like how I said the Sacklers got everybody addicted to Oxycontin. You just got vague Russian officer comrade that you know, kind of alluded to. You don't have like an actual example.
Well, then by that, so my issue with that argument.
So we should talk about things that we know about.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like that's one of my things. Like I think there's a lot of, and I'm not calling you stupid. I'm saying there's a lot of stupidity going around. There's a lot of people just throwing around just ill-informed opinions. And if we would all kind of just take a step back and be informed about the shit that we talk about, the world would be a lot better place.
I think I could agree in theory, but not in practice.
You can agree with everything in theory, apparently.
Well, yeah, because I've seen enough of the real world.
Being informed before having opinion. I can agree with that in theory. God damn it.
Well,
I love doing this. This is so much fun.
You're twisting my words. That's a fun way of doing it. I get it. Great for
Well, then what did you mean? Please clarify. I don't want to straw man you.
Honest. So my point was that argument simply says, okay, you don't know anything, so trust the experts around you then. Which, okay.
No, I'm not saying you don't know anything. I'm saying you don't know anything about Soviet Russia because how old are you?
40.
Brother, like fucking Soviet Russia ended when we were 7, 6.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you know about Soviet Russia? That's my point.
Why would that actually be a point?
Well, I mean, did you study Soviet Russia?
So that you don't know anything about. Okay.
You told me your knowledge of Soviet Russia was just above idiot grade or something like that.
Well, yeah, because I am not.
But you think you can cite Russia as an example of something like a society you know nothing about and how it functioned, and couldn't give concrete examples the way I could with the Sacklers. Just stick with what you know. Like, I'm not saying you can't have the opinions that you have or the views that you have. Just like support them with things that you understand.
Well, so here's where my counter is. If you want to listen to the actual argument, is
hit me with
it. Okay, we don't know anything about it. Okay, well, so unless I'm actually going to take 10, 12, 15 years of actual study, I'm not going to be enough of an expert to have any opinion on it whatsoever.
On Russia?
That metric, okay.
Yeah.
Russia, yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. However, where I'm making my points from are taking from both the pro and anti-socialist points of view. The thing they both agree on is that there were plenty of people who got away from their crimes because they were able to.
Who agrees?
Well, would you like me to pull up actual sources?
I mean, like, I don't think you should have to do research on a call in the middle of, like, you know, a Twitch stream. No, but like, I think you should know what you're talking about before you talk. That's why I'm saying that you should talk about things that you actually know about, not just spout off about Russia because you know nothing about it. You see, talk to me about things you know, man. What's your interest? What are you down with? What do you do?
I do construction.
You do construction. Hey, what kind of construction you do? My dad did blasting.
Well, specifically, I do the design. For
so you're like an architect or an engineer.
Residential. So because of a number of legal quandaries, I do the job of an architect. Like, but licensing, there are specific rules and limitations on what you can and cannot say in that regard. But yes, I do the job of an architect. That's probably the best way to describe it.
Hey man, that's freaking cool. What's like your favorite kind of style of architecture?
Personally, I'm into craftsman, but you know, It's a very niche design. Prairie is also a lot of fun, but you know, those are my personal preferences. Nowadays, everything's going more modern, and
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the modern look.
It's become a lot more popular, very, very common, especially in higher end areas. And
I'm assuming it's cheaper to like fabricate that shit, and I'm thinking like McDonald's and their.
No, it's not. No, they're going for the look. It actually is 20 to 30% more expensive to do that kind of architecture.
Oh, okay. Interesting. It seems simpler.
It's become very popular. So you'd think so, but some of that simplicity comes with its own drawbacks. Like, yeah, you build a square building with a flat roof, and it's like, okay, well, this is very, very simple. But now you have watershed issues, so your waterproofing ends up being a lot more expensive. And so it's the little things around the edges that become more expensive. The frame itself does become a little bit cheaper, but all the extras that are needed to make it work are more expensive.
Okay, I feel you. Awesome. Are you? Is this kind of your like slow time of year, and like you pick up more towards the spring, or because you're planning out? Is this your busy time? No,
it's a different industry where we're at. We're busy year round. It's California, so the demand is high and the supply is low. So busy year round most of the time.
You ain't gonna run out of work anytime soon, man. You're gonna be able to retire fat.
Yeah, potentially. Potentially.
All right, man. Like, I appreciate you talking to me. I got another dude in Discord who wants to talk to me. I'm gonna get off here and talk to him.
Well, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Don't forget to like subscribe, come back, hang out with me sometime.
Like one hit and hit one back, one more click, before we hit the set an alert when that shit goes live, so she fucking support and hit subscribe. Light one up and take a hit. He does no harm, but it takes no shit. He's the last one standing when the ship is sinking. Let's take another rip for JustinFREAKIN.
Light one up, tip one back. I'm JustinFREAKIN.
Not high enough for this shit.